And it looks like the lawnmower man is gonna follow us around all day long. Lawnmower man, lawnmower man. Dun, 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 dun. Let me know if you got that reference. Comment down below if you got that reference. What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to the channel. I'm out here at Champions Landing today with round number 2 of the Masters World's official layouts. This year we are having MP40 and MP50 and MP55 all playing Champions Landing. It's a good mix of holes, some short, some long. Great variety. I'm really thrilled with the layout that we have for this year. I mean, we might as well just get right into it. In my opinion, this course, if you just keep the disc inbounds and don't get overly aggressive, you're gonna score really well. Let's get right into it. Let's go to hole number 1. All right, hole number 1, 999 feet. We are playing to the short / FPO pin on this hole. Not a whole lot of danger for the World Championships. On this particular one during DDO and years past when we've hosted events out here, the OB line has been kind of on this fairway on the left side. Believe we're extending it to the sidewalk, so give you a little bit more room to get a little more pop on that shot. That being said, I don't think you really need to get super aggressive off this tee. It is a par 5, so if you can throw 500 feet, then you have the opportunity for eagle, which is great. People like Joe Revere are probably gonna have opportunities at eagle here, maybe Kale. I can get it, but I don't think I ever try to play for it. I like to just throw a big hyzer over this tree, this kind of broccoli looking tree on the right side. Just get yourself in the fairway, get aggressive on the second shot, pitch up, take that birdie, go on to hole 2. We're going Joel. Yeah, if you can land on that upslope just like that, it's really all you need. Happy with that. This is gonna be terrible filming on this hole because of the sun and obviously this upslope. You can't really see anything for that matter. But if you can kind of see that last tree on the right, that tree is a great reference point on where you want to be kind of throwing towards. We are playing the short pin here, just short right of the golf green that's up there that you can't see. But either way, you just kind of want to get it down there on that right side. Really on this shot, in my opinion, like I said on the tee, birdie plays, so just throw something down the middle. Just don't go too far onto that golf green and you'll be just fine. Right at that tree. Yeah, that'll be like a, I don't know, 80 footer. So easy birdie. Yep, about what I thought, maybe even more than 80 actually. You can get a little bit more aggressive if you really want to, but I don't see the point, honestly. 2 decent power shots keep you in bounds and give you this easy approach for the birdie, because it is a par 5. All right, guys, I'm gonna rip through this one real quick while the lawnmower is right there. Fairway, we're going to the long pin, par 4. That fairway you can see up there is what's OB. That is all you want. All right, guys, as I mentioned, I wanted to rip through that tee shot real quick while the lawnmower man was there. I didn't want to make him wait. This fairway line, you can kind of see the different colors in green. That's where the OB line will be. Right side is the fence that's way over there. There's a lot of trees in between you and that OB line, so obviously it kind of acts as a bunker over there. Basket is just past the grouping of trees up on top. This is a great spot. My tee shot was just fine. The big tree that you guys saw in the middle of the fairway, the one off to the right, that is the one that you just kind of want to avoid. If you get past that, anywhere past that is good. You're gonna see a lot of forehands, possibly a lot of rollers. I went big turnover, which is just my, excuse me, preferred shot. From here, it's just a power hyzer or another forehand if you've got it. So, not much of a hyzer, but got a good little skip. It's a long, long, long look for birdie. So hole number 1, relatively easy birdie. Hole number 2, you get this one, you've really earned it. So, especially when you get tree branched. Hole number 3 is 466 feet, par 3. It is one of the more challenging par 3s on the course relative to par. A few different ways to attack. You've got OB on this left side. You got the fairway on the left that's OB. You've got this cart path on the right that's OB. You've got a ditch with tall grass, kind of a creaky, swampy area past it that's OB around circle's edge. A couple ways to play it is either you can go forehand down this left side. You could try this sneaky little hyzer line, but I don't recommend it. For me, personally, I like to go fairway driver up the middle, something neutral. Hyzer flip it, let it just go dead straight. Get down there. If you get down there by that tree on the left, you've got yourself a putt. Otherwise, if you 3 it, I mean, you're probably not losing strokes to the field. You're not losing strokes to the field if you 3 this. So, especially if you hit that first available. Drop. Oh my goodness. That was almost the best birdie save of my life. Like I said, I'll take a par, especially after that garbage tee shot. All right guys, hole number 4, we're going long tee to short pin. The original hole out here for Emporia Country Club / Champions Landing. A little bit of OB. You got this fairway on the right. You got the grassy bunker up there to the right as well that's out of bounds. There'll be a painted line that comes down that hill and then shoots across that way. So anything short here will be in bounds. Path over on the left is out of bounds. Path and beyond. This willow tree that's short left of the pin, that thing is a nuisance. Even if you just clip the right side of it, you tend to drop and for whatever reason roll behind it and gives you absolutely no look. So try to avoid that one at all costs. Skip. Yeah, let's go. This is always a fun one to get, for sure. Just got to commit to the line, and it's relatively easy. You just don't want to skip left, is really all you want to avoid there. Hole 5, 675 feet. This is a par 4. We're playing long tee, MPO pin. I think it's one of the better par 4s on the course. Very challenging. If you get a 3 on it, you've earned it. Tee shot, I like to go lower these the sycamore tree just underneath these branches, kind of towards the FPO pin, with something somewhat stable that I can just mash, just rip on flat and get it to hyzer out. Anywhere down around that cart path that you see that jets out to the left, anywhere past that is pretty good. The OB is the fairway on this left side, cart path and beyond on the right. The little sliver that comes out in the middle is in bounds. You really want to be as close to that fairway on the left side as you can, so you have an easier, more open approach into this green. Oh, I love it. Big skip. Oh yeah, anywhere up in those trees. If you get to those trees, man, you're doing something. All right, I'm pretty happy with this tee shot. A couple different ways to attack from here. You can either go forehand up this left side or a little mid fairway up this right side and get a nice little skip. The tree up there on the right side, you just don't want to hit that thing on the right side of it because it will kick out of bounds. I'm gonna go mid up this right side. Get up. Yeah, that'll work. That got some great ground play. Now this is a hole I always love to birdie. Doesn't happen too often, but when it does, pretty stoked. All right, hole number 6, 300 feet. We're playing to the elevated basket up there on the right. We lost a tree at one point, kind of sucks. OB, fairway and beyond on the right side. There's a golf green up there long to the right that is also out of bounds. This tall grass on the left is also out of bounds. A lot of people are just gonna take a mid right at this or this big power hyzer shot. I'm going mid right at it. That's all you want, right there, somewhere up there in the circle. Left side goodness. All right, hole number 7 is a par 4, 678 feet. We're playing to the long pin. You can see it way down there in the distance, just shining. The Dynamic Discs Open, they played a river that kind of ran right through the middle of the fairway as out of bounds. The reason for that was we lost a couple trees on this hole. This one and a more significant one further down the fairway that's kind of in line with all the other trees, and it leaned across the fairway, and it basically made it to where any shot down on that left side was just a wide open approach. So we wanted to force players to think about either going for this fairway, to either cross that fairway off the tee shot or lay it up like you're gonna see majority of us doing, which is what I'm gonna do. Cart path and beyond where the guy on the cart's driving right now, OB. That's going a little left. As long as it doesn't get too big of a flare, yeah, that's fine. Left side's not bad. That way you have a couple options into this green. You can either go big forehand up the left side, or what I prefer, the hyzer skip shot. Let's go look at it. All right guys, for reference, I'm about 40 feet right side of the OB sidewalk, and I've got about 150 feet until I reach that OB, and I threw that around 75% power. So that'll give you an idea of how much power you could put on that tee shot. From here, like I said, you can either go big forehand or roller even, turnover shot. I personally prefer throwing something pretty stable on this right side at these 3 trees on the right, and getting a nice flare skip. There's a lot of ground action up there on that right side for whatever reason, so I think that's the play. There's that big flare. Yeah.
We need to talk about your flare.
Probably one of the easier par 4s. As long as you get off the tee, hit that gap, you'll be fine. Hole number 8, par 5. We are playing to the short pin here, 886 feet. Way down there. This is a very, very challenging hole. I used to like to just kind of dump something down, which I may end up doing again this year. Since it is a shorter hole, I can get more aggressive on that second shot to give myself a look into the green to hopefully get a birdie. But lately I've been throwing at this tree on the right, something decently stable, hard, right at it, and either side of the sidewalk you hit, typically you don't get that big of a flare, enough to stay in bounds. But that being said, the miss on this hole is to the left. It's definitely miss left, unlike my last video where you didn't want to. Don't be left. Now you want to miss left if you're gonna miss, because the OB on the left side, it gives you distance. If you miss right and never come in, you're way back here and pretty much playing for par at that point. So maybe even bogey, but if you can make it to that shade, you're looking good. That is perfect. Sit. Should be really, really close. This approach is tough. Pond comes up very fast on the left side, sidewalk on the right. The tree in the middle is kind of my reference point. I just kind of want to throw something to the base of it, really. If I land at the base of that tree in 2, it's almost a guaranteed birdie from there. There's no point in getting too aggressive from here, in my opinion. All these trees on the right side are all out of bounds. They are across the cart path. So that's just a good reference for you when you're out here playing. It's a little left of what I wanted, but it should be wide open approach from there. You don't want to go any further left than that, that's for sure. All right guys, hole number 9. If I had a dream 18 that I could build somewhere, if I had unlimited funds and a piece of property that I could mold into whatever I wanted, this hole would absolutely be on that course. 719 feet, short tee, long pin, par 4. Got to get out this gap. That cart path you see down there on the left, anything past that is out of bounds. You do play normal OB rules unless you don't make it out the gap. If you don't make it out the gap, you go to a drop zone. If you go across the sidewalk way down there, then you play it from where it went out. At the Dynamic Discs Open, the right side was all out of bounds. It'll probably be out of bounds for the Masters Worlds as well because of how swampy and just gross it is in there. Hold that right side. Yeah, that got way up there. Oh my gosh, I don't know if you can see that or not, but you're not gonna be able to focus on it, but it's up there, way, way up there. This was absolutely perfect. Couldn't ask for a better drive. I mean, I could, but I'd be just getting greedy at that point. Should be a putt. Birdie. Such a fun hole, guys. Dream 18 right there. You birdie that, you're feeling good about life. Hole number 10, 585. This is a fun one. Got this gap. The worst part about this hole is the highway and how loud and noisy it is, but you know, what do you do? 585, par 4. It's kind of a split hole. It used to be 2 holes. We turned it into 1 hole a couple of years ago, and I personally love it. You see this V tree at the end of the gap, coming out of the gap? That's the one you need to make your decision if you're gonna go right or left of. I personally believe it's a fairway driver right at it that just misses left, pushing forward. You got fairway way left OB. You've got a golf green up on the right that's OB. Should not come into play, but you never know. The cart path gets relatively close up by the basket, but we'll see that in a minute. Basically, just throw a fairway at that tree and miss it. Missed it. Yep. That should be in a great spot. I feel like I'm in Alaska, guys. These mosquitoes are terrible right now. This is the sweet spot. Absolute perfect shot. Happy with this. From here, it's just a little putter approach. Sidewalk on that left side comes up relatively fast. Yeah, just play to the tree to your advantage. Why not? Those mosquitoes in that tree line were something else. Whew. Hole number 11, 395 feet, straight ahead. Par 3, this is a very tough hole to get. Majority of the time, you got to get that height right, but you got to throw something flippy enough that goes straight for 90% of the flight, because the way the terrain works, it just naturally wants to die off to that left side. There is an OB line on the left. The tree line on the right is out of bounds. The right side comes into play. Left side shouldn't, unless you just throw something a little too stable and get that left fade. If I get this one, I feel like it's a bonus for me, so I'm not too disappointed with the 3, but that doesn't mean you can't get it and get aggressive on this hole. Yeah, that actually worked. That actually wasn't too bad. This was better than I thought. I'd be stoked with this. Circle's edge putt for birdie on this hole. Fat kid climbing the fence. Let's go. Stoked with that birdie. Holy cow. Like I said, it's kind of a bonus get, and you're happy when you do get it, but you just got to get aggressive with it, I guess, sometimes. All right, guys, hole number 12, 404 feet. This hole, for whatever reason, ate my lunch at the Dynamic Discs Open last year. Kept finding the OB or worming or whatever. This cart path and left is out of bounds. That tree line that was on 11 is also out of bounds, but it's quite a ways over there, so the miss here is right. There's 3 trees down there by the basket kind of surrounding it. The one on the right side that has a grouping of them, that's my reference point. I like to throw something semi-stable right at those trees and kind of let it fade at the end. This is the hole you're going to want to get. Out of the last 2, 11 and 12, if you walk over to 13, birdie in at least one of those 2 holes, you're in good shape. There we go, right at that tree, fade at the end, check. That had a little bit more skip than I wanted, but she's safe. Like I said, getting one of those 2 is good, but getting them both, you're loving life again. All right, hole number 13, it's about 500 feet up this hill, up this right side, or you could go left. There's a fairway up there quite a ways up on the left side that's out of bounds. It is a par 4 for Masters Worlds, and everything you see that's grizzly, kind of Grizzly Adams looking up here on the right side, is all gonna play as hazard. So if you land in it, you advance to the lie, but you take a stroke penalty. So don't throw it in the hazard, I guess is the easiest thing to say. Laying up is an option. It is probably an easier option for the birdie if you can't throw around 400 feet, because I want to say it's about 400-ish feet to clear it. Maybe a little more since it's uphill. I always just go this way, because even if I guess here's my mindset on this hole. I'm gonna throw it this way every single time, because even if I come up short in the hazard, I can still get up and down for my par. That's my mindset. That's what I'm sticking to. Yeah. Yeah, that's like a long jumper for the eagle. I like that line. That's probably inbounds by 60-ish feet. Got an eagle look, but it's almost a guaranteed birdie as well. Woo, I would have loved that. But birdie, I'm happy. Can never be disappointed with a birdie. Hole 14, 848 feet, par 4, mostly downhill though. We've got a right to left slant, so anything you get too high up in the air will naturally just fade and come close to that OB line on the left side, which is the cart path. Should be avoidable though. That's why I like to go fairway off this tee shot, force something down the middle, just to ensure that you're inbounds around 380 to 400 feet off the tee. Then you can attack the green, because it's pretty safe green to attack for your birdie. Like to get aggressive on my second shot, not as much my first shot here. Money. Right in the middle. All right guys, right in the middle of the fairway. This rock wall you see ahead of us, that's the OB line, and it wraps all the way from the left by the cart path in front of it, and then wraps around it up to the green and back behind. Basket sets underneath this huge, massive tree. I think I might just go fairway again. Try to put it up there in the shade. If you see the shade up there on the right, if you put it in that shade, you've got to look at least. That is so good. Sit. That went past where I wanted to be. That's Vandal on this hole. So that tells you how far downhill it is, that you can go fairway, and have a look for birdie. I'm getting hungry. That's another great tip for this course. Bring snacks. You are gonna need them. It's a good birdie. It's a good get. Really good get. Hole number 15, 439 feet. It is an island hole. Cart path and beyond on the left, fairway on the right. There's like 4 trees up there you can see. The one on the right, far right, is the one I like to aim just on the right side of it with something pretty stable that gets a skip into this green. It's a bonus deuce, I feel like. You can try to go straight at it, but a lot of times when I see people try to get aggressive right at this pin, it hyzers out and then gets that big skip out of bounds. So don't do that. Pretty much just like that. Big skip. Wow, that's big skip. Holy cow, did not expect that. Wow, all day I'd love to have this birdie. Don't get this one very often, but I will say it is a great get before going to the island hole. We made it to the iconic island hole. 320 feet to the basket, about 300 feet, maybe, no, 310 feet to the front of the green. This isn't an easy one. There is a drop zone on the island. If you miss, we did change it this year for a couple of reasons. The main reason was because of a waiver that we had to get, I believe, and we were hoping people would get more aggressive if it was closer and go for it. I think we might move it again. I talked about putting it right out, just outside the circle, like 35 feet, just death putt right at the water, because that's a putt you should probably go for. You can lay up on the right. I don't recommend it. This is an all 4, go for 4 or 2, maybe 3 if you land on the island and you're safe. I personally like, on a day like today when there's not much breeze, take a mid, like an EMAC right on that right side, and just kind of let it dump. Just try to get to the center of this green and you're looking good. Stay up. Yep. That'll do. Whew. That'll do. All right. Put it on in the middle, about 20 feet. This is a putt you kind of have to go for, so. Whew. This is a great get. It's an iconic get. Love it. Par 4, 635 feet. We are playing to the short pin. We have a Mando left of the big tree there on the right. You got OB down this left side, kind of the tree line you can see up here. These trees are kind of like a bunker almost. If you land in them, you're basically just pitching out. You might be able to get a little aggressive over the cart path that you can see down there on the right, kind of where those golf carts are parked. Everything short of that is out of bounds. Basically, this fairway running all the way up to the green is out of bounds. The shot, in my opinion, fairway driver or something relatively neutral right down this middle line, or if you got a nice low forehand, something that plays to the right, kind of close to that fairway's edge, but not getting into the OB, that'll leave you with a relatively easy approach into the green. The shorter you are, or the further back, or if you throw it a little too high and catch this low ceiling, you're really gonna struggle to get all the way across. But you can still play it pretty straight for the most part and then have a decently easy approach across the OB green there. So I personally like fairway driver here, but you can get a little aggressive if you want. Yeah, even with that tree kick, without the tree it would have been perfect, but with the tree it's still manageable. All right, even with that little tree hit, I'm still in pretty decent shape from where I'm at. You can see the basket right there. It's the first one you can see on the little ridge. If you blast past this pin, you're gonna have a comebacker because it does kind of sit on a little knoll. Anything short of the discolored fairway there is out of bounds, so keep that in mind. If you're in this position and don't feel comfortable going across, you can always go a little further down to this left side and play into the green, as I mentioned, for par. But if you're here, you gotta get aggressive. You gotta go for this green. Look up. Sit, sit, sit. All right, yeah, that's good. If you see it sit, if you see it hit the ground, you're in good shape. It's when you see it skip, or we see it disappear, that's when you know you're in trouble. Woo, I'm getting tired. Bring those snacks, guys, I'm telling you. You're gonna need them. This course is a beast. We made it. Hole number 18, playing short tee to the new long pin, the island, that you can kind of see way down there with all the rocks around it. The broccoli tree up here on your left side is the reference point for the out of bounds. The OB basically runs a straight line to that and then kind of curves a little left to give you a little bit of freedom, but not a whole lot, and then it curves straight back down to the water. The old elevated basket on this hole is where that OB line is, just for your reference, if you're familiar with that. I like to just throw something nice up there in the middle. Even a mid-range just between those two trees is plenty enough space to give you for your next shot. You can also probably go spike hyzer, something I've never even looked at from here because I've never really played this. I've always played the long tee, but yeah, you could probably go spike on this, or at least Joe can. Maybe I'll talk him into it. But it's an easy little spot to get down there to the landing zone. I don't have the distance on this one. Sorry, it's 500-600 feet. I'm not sure, it's far. Just gonna try mid-range, like I said, just try to get up there. Throw a little turn at the broccoli tree, let it fade in front of it. Let it turn in front of it. Just like that. That is absolutely perfect. Love it. EMAC truth, guys. Don't sleep on them. So as you can tell, plenty of room. Still got around 100 feet to the OB line by the water. So it was very, very good shot. I'll take that every time. Now we just have a little putter shot into this green. You do want to throw it a little further than you think. I've seen a lot of people come up short on this hole. That's good. That'll play. Woo, doggy. That's all she wrote. Champions Landing for the MP40, MP50, and MP55 divisions at the 2024 PDGA Masters World Championships in Emporia, Kansas. That is Champion Landing. Fun course. I think we did a great job of mixing up some of the long and some of the short holes for the skill set of players that will be playing these courses. I'm very excited about it. Up next, I know I've got a few more courses that I'm trying to get done, guys. Trying to get Jones West, Boyce Bumgardner, Opie Lake, Eagle Disc Golf Course at Opie Lake, and of course, Council Grove, Kansas View, one of my all-time favorite courses. I'll do my best to get all those courses done. Comment down below which one you'd like to see next, and I will do everything in my power to make it happen for you guys. All depends on the weather, if I can get out there. I appreciate you. Like and subscribe. We'll see you on the next one.